All right, let's get to James Ham's 6 quick thoughts. If you follow James on Twitter at James_Ham NBA, you will have already read these, but we're going to discuss them a little bit more in depth. Here we go.
How'd yesterday's Kings game go? Kings insider James Ham has 6 notes you need to know. Here are James Ham's 6 quick thoughts.
James Ham, take it away. Thought number one.
DeRozan didn't disappoint. I thought he was absolutely spectacular for long stretches of the game. Like defensively, I don't think it was really all that bad. I thought he held his own. You know, he had to spend a lot of time on Julius Randle. Offensively, he scores 26 points, grabs 8 rebounds, a couple of assists. Like, look, this is exactly why you went out and got him. It got sticky in the fourth quarter, and I think it was a learning process for everybody. But again, I think it's more than just DeMar DeRozan took too many shots or got blocked a couple of times, forced some things. I think it like plays into a bigger scheme that, you know, you need multiple players on the court with him at the same time in order to draw defensive coverages and stuff. And the Kings were, you know, trying to get through their first NBA game of the season with a whole bunch of players that had never played before with them. So, yeah, really, really nice opening night start for DeMar DeRozan.
Yeah, nothing happened last night that made me feel differently about DeMar DeRozan on the Kings. And frankly, even though I complained about that little minute and a half stretch there in the fourth quarter, there's also going to be games where he has stretches like that and he's cashing everything he shoots.
Yeah, he did it last year against the Kings. He put up 19 in the fourth quarter and torched them.
Yeah, you saw it in the preseason opener against the Warriors.
Yep.
He had 6 for 6, and every single one of those was like a tough contested jumper. Yeah, I have no problems with DeMar DeRozan's overall game last night. He did exactly what we thought he would do. Number two,
Keegan is a two-way star. I thought, again, we're wondering what Keegan Murray, if he's going to get lost in the shuffle because of DeMar, he's going to be able to elevate his game. Everything that I saw last night tells me that he's on his path to being one of the better two-way players in the game.
Yeah.
And that's a really good thing for the Sacramento Kings.
He needed to be more aggressive shooting the basketball, and when given the opportunity, put the ball on the deck and go get a basket. And he did that every time last night. The 11 rebounds, the active hands. I would love to know how many deflections he had.
Yes, probably a lot.
I will look that up while you're talking, but I couldn't have been more impressed with Keegan last night. It's the exact, I've come on the radio and been like, hey, I need to see this and that from Keegan, and I saw both this and that last night.
That's right. And I will say this too. Shout out to Monty McNair and Wes Wilcox, because the Keegan Murray selection was not the most popular thing ever. And what they've done to like put him in a position to succeed is huge. But also the way that the training staff has worked with him and developed his body, and the way that he continues to grow, the way that De'Aaron Fox has pulled him under his wing and made him part of the family. I think all of these pieces, for once, I think the Kings have an environment where a young player can develop and become something really, really good. And I think that's what we're seeing from Keegan Murray right now. He's done a lot of work to make himself better. He's a very talented player. But on top of that, all of the pieces are in place to support him in the right way, where so many other young players in Sacramento have gotten lost in the shuffle because they didn't have this support system in place.
Last night was why he was a perfect fit when they drafted him.
Yes.
That's why it was the right pick. That was my take on draft night. You can look it up. I have looked it up. Keegan Murray deflections last night in the Sacramento Kings season opener against the Minnesota Timberwolves. He had 0. Number 3. It felt like he had his hand on the basketball a lot. Maybe there were some that weren't technically deflections. He was poking away rebounds.
Maybe they gave him rebounds where he should have had steals or deflections.
He had no steals, no deflections. I take it all
amazing.
back. Keegan Murray stunk last night. Should they trade him so they can tank for Cooper Flagg? No.
There we are.
Number 3.
I thought Domantas Sabonis was really solid. He did not get a double-double, which is stunning because he had so many. And he only had 1 assist, which is crazy. But 24 points, 8 rebounds, 8 of 13 from the field, 3 of 4 from long range. He even hit 5 of 8 free throws. Look, this dude just every single game. And if he's going to be this aggressive as a scorer, Number one, De'Aaron Fox is going to have to fight to get over 22 to 25 a game. But this is what you're kind of hoping for, this elevation of everybody, not just of the young players, but even the guys who are all-star level that can take another step.
Yeah, I want to talk a little bit more about Domas coming up here, so I don't want to get too far into the weeds, but overall, we saw in the preseason that he was more aggressive scoring the basketball. I think we saw it last night. A couple of times he hesitated when I would maybe like him not to, but again, we're game one, learning process, etc. Overall, really nice game from Domas last night. Number 4.
Fox had a slow scoring night, and something we've talked about. 6 of 14 from the field, 1 of 4 from 3. Only went to the free throw line twice. I think he played a different role. He played the role of distributor last night. 15 points, 11 assists, only 2 turnovers. And to me, there are going to be nights where this is who he's got to be.
Mm-hmm.
But there's also going to be the night where, like, man, take the Ferrari off the blocks. Let's see what you got. And I think Jaden McDaniels had a little bit to do with that. He's a very good defensive player. But I also think that playing to your strengths in a game like that, where you're going to be defended, is probably the right move. Get to the painted area, find your teammates, set people up. The look ahead to Keegan Murray was spectacular, but he fed Keegan Murray on a bunch of threes.
Yep.
And when your team finishes a night with only 21 assists and you have 11 of them, that means that you were part of the solution. You were not part of the problem, regardless of how many points you scored.
Yeah, and to your point about setting up Keegan threes, there were a couple of times last night where he could have taken like a tough contested floater that De'Aaron Fox probably hits, but Keegan Murray is not I don't know, Glenn Robinson III. Like, Keegan Murray is a legitimate elite 3-point shooter.
Yeah,
or at least he's trending that way. That is a much better shot. A wide open Keegan corner 3 is just the right shot and the right play. I'll be a little bit more. I'll have more of a reaction to De'Aaron's scoring night if he doesn't cook the Lakers. The Lakers don't have anyone who can guard him.
No.
If he's scoring 15 points against LA, now we can have a bigger conversation about what that looked like. But I'm guessing we'll see the scoring tick up on Saturday night.
Yeah, and I want to add this too. Mike Conley went 2 of 9 from the field for 6 points.
Bruh.
Dante DiVincenzo went 4 of 10 from the field, 1 of 6 from 3. De'Aaron Fox was defending both of those guys the whole night. I thought defensively he was really good. Him and DiVincenzo, there's a little like love-hate thing going on there.
A little beef.
Yeah, it does feel like there's a little beef happening for whatever reason. And like you saw, they were going at it.
I don't think Dante's probably a quiet person on the court.
No.
He probably gets under people's skin a little bit.
Told you, Dante DiVincenzo is one intense dude.
Yeah, the offensive foul with the little chicken wing to De'Aaron.
Yeah, but even that, I think a lot of people did not think that was a foul, and Fox did the Chris Paul move there to bait him and get that foul. So yeah,
I thought it was pretty clear he threw an elbow up there, but
it's possible.
I had a bad angle.
Yeah. And look, I enjoyed like Dante DiVincenzo, the person, when he was in Sacramento for like that brief moment in time, but it did not end well. And he wants to torch the Kings every time he plays them.
You also noted that he's an intense dude, and he is. And boos rained down on him when he entered the game.
Yeah,
he's probably playing with a little bit of an edge last night.
I don't know why though. He didn't do anything.
He didn't do it.
He didn't do it. The only thing he did was for some reason not get to start over Holiday. Like the Kings traded for him and Holiday at the same time, and he's coming off the bench behind Holiday, and it was like he wasn't happy about it. Like, what in the world? I wouldn't be happy about it either.
Justin Holiday, right? Or Aaron?
Justin Holiday. Yeah, I think
not Drew.
No, it was not Drew.
One of the Holidays who wasn't Drew.
It was Justin, I believe. Yeah, Justin Holiday. Anyway, like his gripe, his beef was legit. It was legit. And so, and then when he left, it was very strange. Like again, the Kings had him as a restricted free agent and pulled a qualifying offer and allowed him to become an unrestricted free agent. Like, yeah, I've received some stunned phone calls from people around the league, but the phone call I got on that one that was like,
What are they doing?
What in the world just happened here? Was like, oh,
Man.
I don't know, man.
Tough.
Good luck with that.
Tough. I also think Dante's probably a little angsty because he doesn't get to play with his Villanova homies. I don't know if you know that, but the Knicks have a bunch of guys who went to Villanova together.
I just feel so bad for him. And
It
like,
sucks, dude.
this is a good spot for him.
Got the college teammates back. You're on a team that trying to go to the Eastern Conference Finals, and they're like, "Hey, go enjoy Minnesota."
And he was great last year for them.
He was awesome.
He was absolutely spectacular for them. Yeah, I feel really bad for him that happened. And like, look, he's a good ball player.
Yeah.
Teams around the league, I look at him in a very similar light to a guy like Bogdanovic. These are winning players. They are like, he's intense because he wants to win. Like, he's a no nonsense dude. Like, there's nothing wrong with that, and there's nothing wrong with, like, teammates love guys like that. Guys who literally come out and play as hard as they can every single night. And you know, it didn't work out here in Sacramento, and hopefully it works out for him in Minnesota. So
Soren says Dante's been on 5 teams in 3 years now. Well, he got traded to the Kings, right?
Yeah.
Kings didn't offer him, so he signs with Golden State on a 1-1, plays his ass off in Golden State, gets a bag with the Knicks, and then the Knicks traded him as part of the Karl Anthony Towns deal.
Yeah.
That's tough, man. just done nothing but ball out. He should probably be starting over Mike Conley, though. I don't know what Mike Conley does for the Timberwolves. Mike Conley is there to take the inbounds pass, dribble up the court, hand it to Anthony Edwards, and then go over there.
Go hide somewhere.
I know he hit a couple of big threes last night, so respect to Mike Conley. He's 38 years old out there getting it done. I think the maximized version of the Timberwolves probably has Dante starting.
Yeah, it might have Dante starting, and again, Rob Dillingham is a guy who's hiding on their bench who down the road.
Yeah, what a weird thing.
It's very weird. Yeah. I did see, I was standing courtside with Mark Jones in pregame last night, and Dante came over and said hello.
Oh, nice.
Like, super nice. Like, again, he's an intense dude, but
beard looks great.
Super nice guy. So
we've gotten so far off track.
Where are we?
Number 5.
Number 5, Malik Monk picked up right where he left off. I thought Malik Monk was tremendous. And that's like, I've also talked about how he was dealing with the fact that he's playing with a bunch of dudes he doesn't know, or that haven't been there and aren't like, you know, there were plenty of moments where I just thought he was there to take over a game. And I kind of wish there was a little bit more of him. You know, again, not everyone is going to get, we talked about this. There's only a certain amount of like shots. So not everyone is going to get to eat every single night. And the fact that he came in off the bench and looked extremely motivated, he had a dunk. He just like embarrassed Joe Ingles. Like he like got it in the corner, like sat there and dribbled for a second and made a spin move and bye-bye, and then double clutch dunk. And it was like, what in the world?
I'm not sure Joe Ingles can slide his feet to stay in front of Malik Monk, James.
I don't think that's a good matchup for the Minnesota Timberwolves.
Yeah, dude, no, I don't want to say there's nobody in the league. There may not be a 6th man in the league who understands moments better than Malik Monk.
Yeah.
And understands when his team needs him to be the maximized version of himself. Like, he's always going to look for a shot. He's always going to try and score, etc. But understanding, hey, here's a huge moment in the game. I'm taking this shot. Or here's a spot where, what was the game last year where he started to dribble inside the 3-point line and then just like turned around, ran back to the 3-point line and hit a huge 3?
Yeah, I don't know which game, but yeah.
You remember what I'm talking about, though?
Yeah.
He just, man, I really enjoy watching him play basketball. Just a really, really fine player. And again, 17-4 last night. No turnovers.
Yeah, it's just a really, really good basketball player. When Malik Monk is like your 4th or 5th best player, that means your team is really, really good. And, you know, the fact that he doesn't start, that means nothing to me. Like, what he's able to do coming off the bench is just spectacular. He changes everything.
Yep.
And I needed more of him last night, not less. Like, if he would have been the 4th guy to score 20 points, I would have been A-okay with that. Like, he probably should have forced up a couple of more shots.
For sure. Last one, number 6.
Here's the downer. Kevin Huerter goes 1 of 4. Keon Ellis goes 0 for 1. Trey Lyles goes 1 for 4. Alex Len 1 for 1. Doug McDermott 0 for 1. The Kings got nothing out of everyone else that came in the game. They got a total of 10 points. And a lot of this is because, because Herter was injured, because Lyles was injured. But it's really tough when, most of your starters, Sabonis ran a -2, but the rest of your starting lineup all ran positives. And then you get to your bench unit and Monk, because he's playing with these guys, runs a -7. But Keon Ellis -12, Trey Lyles -14. We're talking about in 11 minutes of action.
Ooh.
And
A
so
-14 in 11 minutes is tough.
yeah. So look, it's gonna take a little while for these guys to figure it out. And I don't blame Mike Brown for giving Doug McDermott a shot at all, because he probably looked at the minutes he was getting from Kevin Huerter and said, okay, look, I probably am pushing too hard.
Mhm.
I need him to ease his way into this. And I thought Kevin played physical. I thought he was good as he can be. Yeah, I thought he flew in for a couple of rebound attempts, helped defense. He fouled a couple of guys, but at the same time, I thought it was because he was trying, and I didn't hate what I saw from him, but they need more than 10 points out of that entire group and just more of everything. And it will come. It's just right now, that's why Mike Brown went 43 minutes with DeRozan and 43 minutes with Keegan Murray.
I really enjoyed his transparency there when he said, I'm not comfortable with my rotation yet.
Yeah.
And that's not to say he's not comfortable with okay, who's going to play with who? It's I don't know who I can play right now. I got to figure that out. What is Kevin Huerter going to give them? Trey Lyles, I think they're probably pretty sure what they're going to get out of Trey Lyles. He's just not in basketball shape.
Yeah.
Or he's not game shape yet. But Keon Ellis was kind of a mess last night.
He was.
It was, and he's not starting, and then he goes in and plays 11 minutes and has that sequence where he gets the steal on the inbounds and then throws up a wild floater from the baseline and yanked.
Well, that was the beginning of the end.
Yeah,
because it was that, and then the DeRozan plays happen right afterwards, and so you have 3 or 4 forced shots within the span of 2 minutes, and you go from right in the game to down 4 or 5, and it really hurt them right there. And again, I don't blame Keon Ellis he did the work to get the ball,
sure,
but he probably should have made a better play there.
All right, we were gonna do NFL here, but since we're on the Keon Ellis thing, let's just get to this. We'll get to 49ers and Raiders in a bit. Not overreacting. It's game 1. Keon Ellis, more than likely going to be fine and going to be something close to the player we saw last year, if not a little better. But if this is kind of what this is for him this year, where there's a game he's going to be super effective in 11 minutes, and then, hey, maybe he has to play 20 minutes one night and he plays well, but it's just kind of an up and down thing, and he's not a reliable rotation player. That's bad. Because so much of what we've talked about this entire offseason is Keon's the starting 2, and if he's not the starting 2, then he's this awesome option off the bench. And last night he was not awesome. And it dawned on me, and again, this not because I think that's what he's going to be. If I had to bet, I'd bet Keon Ellis is going to be fine. But it was the first time I'd ever really considered, what if he takes a step back? Because I've been operating oh yeah, he's going to take this jump. He's going to have another year. And he's a great defender, and he's going to keep knocking down threes and this and that. But man, what if he doesn't?
Okay, well, a couple of things. Number one, I don't want to overreact on one game, and I don't think he had a great preseason. There's just something about him in preseason that looked different, and I don't know. And I think it's part of the reason why he's not starting. When he got a couple of breakaways, and he went up to dunk the ball, and his body looks tired. He wasn't exploding. When I watched his 3-point shot, all of a sudden he's taking a major step forward on his 3-point shot and coming into a shooter, which is not typically what you want to do. Yeah, exactly. But there's certain things that I feel it's almost like he worked too hard this offseason and then got to training camp and was a bit worn out. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe I'm reading more into it, but he didn't stand out. And the reason why Keon usually stands out is because he has so much energy. And when he steps on the court, you feel his energy as a defensive player. I did not feel that at all.
No.
He was a step slow. He was running into screens and not going through screens like he normally does. All he did was foul everybody the whole entire, like he was trying to play physical, but usually when you're fouling too much, it's because you're a little bit slow. So I don't know what exactly happened here in the offseason, but I think that there is a very good chance that he recovers and he's perfectly fine.
Sure. And that's why I said I didn't. This is not a referendum on Keon Ellis.
No,
it is. Oh, what if? Like, there's.
I'll tell you what if.
That's
Kyle,
tough.
Here's a real tough answer for you.
Yeah.
What if is that when Devin Carter gets healthy, he's not playing.
Oh,
that's the what if.
Oh, man.
So I hope that that's not where we are, because
I don't think it is.
I really like Keon as a player and I like what he brings to the table. And I also I like the energy that he brings. And if something's off, they need to figure it out.
And I also think, I guess this is the other side of the fence. We talk about Malik playing with a bunch of guys he's not played with. Same thing with Keon. He's been running with the starting group. And then 2 days before the season starts, or 3 days before the season starts, it's like, hey, actually throw that gray practice jersey on. You're with the twos now. And now he's trying to adjust to what that role looks like.
I totally agree.
Because by the time he started playing last year consistently, Herter got hurt and he was in the starting lineup.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just a different. So there's going to be an adjustment for him too, which is why I think for the most part he's going to be fine. That was weird last night. It was jarring.
It's kind of been weird and jarring the entire preseason. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I'm hoping he snaps out of whatever the funk it is.